Well, good afternoon. I'm going to take a couple of minutes and talk to you about reversing pancreatic damage. A lot of people say that it can't be reversed, but yet I've read scholar type articles that you can find on PubMed, for example, that say that the acnar cells can regenerate. Now, there's a bad little portion to this because supposedly sometimes when the acnar cells do regenerate, they become cancerous. Okay, so why they say that, I have no idea. I don't know if there's any real evidence of that. Okay, or if they're just pulling a rabbit out of a hat, so to speak, to keep you from trying to regenerate your pancreas, for example. Because let's face it, if you were to regenerate your pancreatic cells and become well, okay, they lose a patient, they lose money, they lose revenue. Okay, so y'all know that I'm kind of like uh, I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but I know what butters their bread. I know how they pay for their exotic homes, vacations, planes, cars and crap like that. And if you're well, trust me, they're going to have to find a different job. Okay, so acnar cells will regenerate according to the material I've read, uh, the scholar type material. I'm not talking about Judy's blog down the street or even my blog. I'm talking about real, dyed in the heart scientific evidence. Okay, published on PubMed, for example, and beta cells can also regenerate, but they are a lot iffier. Okay, but the beta cells are the ones that produce the insulin. Acnar cells are the ones that produce your pancreatic enzymes. So I'm thinking that if you can get rid of the inflammation in your pancreas, I believe that's the only way that those cells regenerate. Okay, I mean, they're not going to regenerate when your pancreas is inflamed and destroying more cells. I mean, to me, that's just common sense. Okay, so if you can get rid of the inflammation, okay, and give your pancreas a chance to heal, then chances are it'll also repair itself. Okay, am I making any promises? No, I'm just telling you what I've read. Okay, and what I've personally experienced because I used to be on enzymes. I no longer need to take them. Okay, but I'm not continually insulting my pancreas with foods that make it sick. Okay, because once your pancreas is damaged, it's always damaged. I don't. Well, I shouldn't say that because I've had a couple of people say that their CT scans and ultrasounds and stuff showed scar tissue. And then after being on the supplements and diet for a year or so, they go back and they get CTs, and all of a sudden, boom, they're clear. There's no scar tissue where it once was. Okay, so how do you explain that? Okay, I mean, why would these people lie? I mean, I didn't pay them, you know. I mean, I had one lady, I can't remember her name, and I used to have it on the other site that I lost, but it was originally on this old site. And so it's got to be here somewhere. I just need to find it. But she was a biker, and I mean, not like Hell's Angels. I mean, a cyclist. And when she got sick, she kind of had to like give that up. But then she started feeling better and getting well, and so she started riding her bike, you know. And soon she went in for a CT scan. Now I don't know if it was a year after reading my material and doing what I do, or if it was two. I can't remember. I don't recall a lot of this stuff anymore. But hey, she writes this testimony back saying that her CT scan's clear. Okay, where scar tissue once was, it is no longer there. Now that to me is a freaking miracle. Okay, because scar tissue is not supposed to be something that can just disappear. Okay, supposedly. So something had to have happened there. So the cells must have regenerated. It's the only thing that I can think of. And some of the ways you do this is, uh, by not eating foods that tick off your pancreas, by using supplements that put out the inflammation, by using ibuprofen when you think, okay, that you may have done something that you shouldn't have done or eaten something you shouldn't have eaten, and it's like a you're cutting off the problem before it actually occurs. Okay, I'm not saying take ibuprofen all the time. Okay, I don't do that. Okay, so aspirin might be okay, and aspirin works very similar. It's highly anti-inflammatory medication, and a little bit of it daily probably won't kill you and may actually help. I can't tell you that's fact, okay? But to me, anything that you can do to put out the inflammation, okay? Supplements, grapeseed extract, vitamin C, curcumin, ginger, um, grapefruit seed extract. Okay, grapefruit seed extract was actually used in a study, and it was on rats. Okay, and I know we're not rats, but here's the deal: if it helped rats, chances are it's going to help you. And what it did was it stopped acute pancreatitis attacks. Okay, they actually tested it. They gave infusions to rats of a very strong carcinogen, and that caused acute pancreatitis, boom, almost immediately in rats. Okay, now I don't know if it was a carcinogen or if it was just a antagonist or what. Okay, but they infused them with something that caused uh, acute pancreatitis. And then they started giving them grapefruit seed extract. I'm sorry, not grapeseed, but grapefruit seed extract. Okay. And I imagine grapeseed extract will do pretty much the same thing. But they were using grapefruit seed extract. And they did it before the infusion. And when they did the infusion, nothing happened. The grapefruit seed extract protected the mice's pancreas. Okay, at rats, mice, whatever it was. Okay, so I'm thinking that's why when I started drinking grapefruit juice, all of a sudden my acute pancreatitis episodes and flares disappeared. Okay, and as long as I drink grapefruit juice, I don't have any problems. Okay, of course I'm also on a diet. Okay, that I designed for myself, and you can learn how to do that from the site. There's actually an article on there that teaches you how to do your own pancreatic diet journal, okay? And there's a right way and a wrong way. And I believe my way is the right way, but that doesn't mean it is. But hey, let's face it, to me, it's just common sense, okay? You got to flush out all the bad stuff before you start, doing your journal. Okay, and you do that by, taking enemas and getting rid of all the offending foods and fasting, for 3, 4, 5 days, et cetera, while you're doing this. And then you start bringing in one food at a time, see how it works with you. And you give that one food a certain amount of time, 2, 3, 4 days, depending on what it is, whether it's vegetable or meat or something like that, to see how it works for you. Okay, and I'm going to tell you right off the bat, chances are, okay, because I can't, okay, and I'm not that much different than you, but chances are steak, bacon, pork, lamb, duck, goose, all the high fat meats, trigger meats aren't going to work for you, okay? For some reason, and I can't tell you why, because chicken also has fat in it, but skinless white meat on chicken is usually pretty safe. Okay, and I said usually because that's not necessarily always true. White meat, fish is usually pretty safe. Again, I can't guarantee it, but the oily fish, like tuna and sardines and salmon and stuff like that, you probably need to wait until your pancreas is pretty much healed up before you start using stuff like that. But anyway, if you can get rid of the inflammation, get rid of it totally, then I think that you can probably regenerate your cells. And one way to do that, again, is with fasting, because after 3 days of fasting, no food, just water, okay? Water, black coffee, regular tea with no milk or anything in it, Okay, green tea is actually excellent. Okay, uh, that's the only stuff you're allowed. Water, black coffee, green tea, regular tea with nothing in it, no sugar, no cream, no nothing. I'm talking about plain stuff, okay? And the water is plain stuff. It's none of that sweetened crap, okay? Or anything with additives. I mean, we're talking just plain tap water, plain water, okay? Distilled would be good, okay? Except there's no minerals and stuff in it. So, but anyway, when you hit that point, when you hit 3 days, 72 hours is what it says. When that happens, see, I didn't realize any of this stuff until I started studying it. But once you hit that point in time, then the pancreas, actually the body does this, it starts cleaning house of bad cells, dead cells, bad cells, stuff that's not supposed to be there. And it replenishes those cells with brand new cells. Okay, so what I'm telling you is it awakens your adult stem cells and makes them do their job. Okay, that's what fasting does. And so it's important. And intermittent fasting doesn't work. Okay, that might work to lose weight, but it doesn't work to uh, regenerate or awaken your adult stem cells. That takes a 72-hour fast. Okay, and the longer you can go, the better. But take care with fasting because especially if you're lightweight as it is because of being sick, you've lost a lot of weight and stuff. I mean, be careful, because fasting can be dangerous for some people. Um, it can cause heart rhythm problems or, certain things if you're low on potassium and magnesium and calcium. If you get low on those three deals that the heart needs to keep pumping accurately, you can cause some problems. So, please use common sense, okay? And what I used to always do before I was going to fast is I used to stuff myself with potassium, high potassium foods like potatoes, okay? So anyway, I just thought I'd tell you that. I believe that you can fix your pancreas, okay, regenerate, damaged pancreas tissue, okay, but it just doesn't happen. You have to make it happen, and with the Lord's help, with a lot of prayer and doing things right, I think you can have a whole new life. Hey, you guys take care. Have a nice day. God bless you.